Look next.
Hello and welcome to Eurosport. My name is Mark Bicycle. This is the Downhill and Four-Cross Mountain Bike World Cup. We're coming to you from Telluride in Colorado in the American Rockies. Beautiful setting for mountain bike races. We're just between Durango, the famous resort that held the first mountain bike world championships in 1990, and Montrose to the north. A perfect setting for some decent racing. Telluride, both the courses here, the four-cross and the downhill, designed by the famous John Tomac. And the first event we're going to watch is the four-cross. Some of the main protagonists: Brian Lopes, the man who has won the dual World Cup for the past few years; Eric Carter, another American rider, the Mongoose Hyundai rider; Steve Peat, another of the main protagonists, basically in the downhill, vying with Chris Kavarik in the downhill for the overall World Cup title. And in the women's, the main protagonist, the obvious one, and Caroline Chasson from France, won 2 of the downhill World Cups, 3 of the four-cross events, and of course never count out the global racing rider Missy the Missile Giove. What a brilliant rider she is, now 29 years old, a veteran of the racing circuit, the World Cup racing circuit. Conditions absolutely perfect, sunny, 86 degrees, light winds, and what a lovely setting, isn't it? We're based in the San Juan Mountains in the Colorado Rockies. Absolutely beautiful. And there you have the standings in the four-cross at the moment. Brian Lopes leads with Cedric Gracia in second, Wade Boots third, Mike King in fourth. Brian hasn't won a race so far this season, actually. He's come third, second and third. Cedric Gracia has won one, Mike King has won one, and Eric Carter won the previous race, the last race in Mont Saint Anne. And in the women's standings, well, there you have it, 50 points for a win, and Caroline Chasson has won all 3 races so far this season, with Sabrina Journier in second. She's had a second and 2 thirds, with Katrina Miller having a 5th and 2 seconds. Here's Anne Caroline just to talk about it.
My biggest competitor is it depends. Sometimes I think Missy Giove always been my biggest competitor, but right now this season, Sabrina Journier, the French girl, she's really motivated and she got better and better results. So I have to be careful of her.
Well, you heard it from the horse's mouth. We're going straight in the first of the women's semi-finals. Anne Caroline Chasson, Sabrina Journier, Celine Gros and Jamie Lilly. Chasson, the world champion, she's taking the inside line there. She's a superb jumper, takes the lead right from the gun and wins that semi-final, with Sabrina Journier in second place. The first 2 riders going through to the final. The second semi-final, April Lawyer, Katrina Miller, Tara Yanis and Kathy Pruitt. Yanis, a very good jumper normally. Miller, equally so. Miller, 2-time winner of the dual World Cup. And it's Miller who wins here, with April Lawyer going through with her in second place. So we move to the start list of the men's. There you have Wade Boots, one of the favourites, Eric Carter, Mike King, Cedric Gracia, Todd Leduc, don't forget him, and of course Brian Lopes. But the first of the semi-finals, Greg Minnaar, Sean McCarroll, Nathan Rennie and Britain's Will Longdon on the right of the picture. 2 global racing riders there. And as was usual in the duel, and indeed the four-cross, I think that was either McCarroll, one of the global racing riders, losing control there. It looks like Nathan Rennie, I think, is going to take this win here. The Australian rider. And of course, what with four-cross. These guys getting all over themselves. And it looks like it's going to be a global racing 1-2 with Nathan Rennie and Greg Minnaar moving through to the final. That'll be good for that team, won't it, for global racing? Good racing there. So we move into the next semi-final. Eric Carter, Brian Smith, Cedric Gracia and Brian Lopes. Lopes on the right, Carter on the left. Watch the start. So important to get that fast start. The Mongoose Hyundai rider, Eric Carter, in second place now, I think. Was just chasing down Brian Smith, Cedric Gracia, Brian Lopes. Lopes is not there at the moment. It looks like Carter in the lead at the moment. This course designed by John Tomac. Eric Carter leading at the moment. Oh no! There's a mistake there. And a crash from Lopesy, and loses it just before the finish. It looked like his foot had come out, and Carter goes through with Cedric Grassi in second. It looks like Brian Lopes has hurt himself. Very difficult for Lopes. Just catches his front wheel on that last jump, and the World Cup leader doesn't go through. He'll be disappointed with that. Very, very disappointed. Brian Lopes is getting up, but Gracier and Carter go through to the final. With Brian Lopes very disappointed. Yet another race he's not going to win. So, the start list for the consolation final and the final. In the final, Anne-Caroline Chasson, Sabrina Jonier, Katrina Miller and April Lawyer. That's good for April Lawyer, the American rider. Not used to being in a final, but we go first of all to that final. Chasson on the left. She takes that fast start on the left, trying to get the inside berm, and both riders coming down. That looked very dangerous indeed. That was Katrina Miller. Miller and Chasson vying for that inside line, and it looks like Sabrina Jonier is going to take advantage of that. The French woman who has done so well in the four-cross this season. She's going to move through to take this final, I think, with April Lawyer behind her. April Lawyer, very tentative there, but Jonier, the intense rider, is going to take her first four-cross win of the season. The first time that Anne-Caroline Chasson has not won a four-cross race, and that crash looked very disappointing with Lawyer coming right through into Sabrina Jonier. No damage done there, though. The Maxis rider taking, there's the crash there. Boy, that was a heavy crash. Woo. I think Chasson came down very heavily indeed. This is Katrina Miller just after that crash.
Dan and I just came out of the gate at the exact same time and going for the same line, and the inside berm's not big enough for two people, so you know, we hit bars and both went down pretty damn hard. So I thought it was just me. I didn't even realise that Anne had gone down as well, but she's, I think she's still down, which isn't good.
Wow, Anne-Caroline's still down, and she's got the downhill to come as well. She gets fourth place in the finals, but she looks severely concussed and being taken away in the ambulance. Wow, they'll be disappointed for Anne, but the confirmation of the win there for Jonier. April Lawyer gets a second. There's the standings at the moment with only 20 points between Chasson and Jonier, with Miller in third place. It's basically a battle between those three riders, and really between Chasson and Jonier. Well, let's hope that Chasson will be okay for the downhill tomorrow. There you have the start list for the consolation final and the final, with Eric Carter, Cedric Gracier, Nathan Rennie and Greg Minard going into the final. Brian Lopes okay for the consolation. Watch Carter on your left, number 2. Cedric Gracier, number 3. Nathan Rennie, number 4. Greg Minard, number 5, wearing the green strip of the Global Racing Ride. And Carter goes straight to the front. Oh, loses it slightly on that jump there. Goodness me. Eric, usually the king of smooth, being chased home now by the Volvo Cannondale Pro. Cedric Gracier, Gracier taking that inside line and just edging out Greg Minard there. Brilliant riding from Cedric Gracier, just losing the rear wheel, and Greg Minard trying to get back. And it looks like Eric Carter, the king of smooth, is going to take this win here. A great win for Eric Carter. His second on the trot this season. In fact, his third on the trot in this type of event. He won the last duel of last season with Cedric Gracier in second spot. Great racing from Eric Carter. Here is the man himself.
Yeah. Eric Carter, you've just won a World Cup. Your whole shot was amazing. Tell us how you won that race.
Well, like you said, I got a good start, and that's a big part of it. So my starts have been good the last couple of weeks. Worked hard in the off season with my weight training, and it's starting to pay off. I just got out front and ran my own race and made those guys chase me. They didn't catch me today.
Congratulations. Great job.
Thanks.
Good job, Eric.
Well, excellent for Eric Carter. Second win on the trot. I think he's very happy about that, isn't he? Confirmation there. Eric Carter first, Cedric Gracier second, Greg Minard third, Nathan Rennie fourth, and Lopes still in the lead, but only 6 points now. Eric Carter, 2 wins out of 2. He's in third spot. Basically a battle, I think, between those 3 guys. Very close indeed, going down the standings there. But woo, still Brian Lopes, no win yet. This is a major surprise. 1 win for Gracier, 2 for Carter, 1 for Mike King in 5th spot. But a good win there for Eric Carter. Great win for Sabrina Johnny. A little bit lucky, but that will spice things up. We're taking a short break.
So you're a footballing wonder boy. You've glimpsed the far end of the rainbow, the glamour of the World Cup, and you want the thrill of playing in the next one. So what do? You start right now. Impress the movers and shakers, make managers take notice. You shine in the Under-19 European Championship. The stage is all set. The Under-19 European Championship on British Eurosport. There's something of the gladiator in top tennis players, especially on the clay. Supreme athletes striving to beat each other into submission, choosing the moment to deliver the fatal blow. And this is one of the biggest tournaments on the ATP Tour, with almost $1 million in prize money. It's the Generali Open from Kitzbühel, and it's on British Eurosport, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. With Kitzbühel, the sport metropolis of the Alps.
Welcome back to Eurosport with me, Mark Bicycle. We are now going straight to the downhill race, the 4th of this season, 4th out of 5 here in Telluride in the Colorado Rockies in America. Just looking at some of the riders cruising around. Cedric Gracier, the Volvo Cannondale Pro there. We'll be looking at the women's downhill first of all. As I said, the 4th out of 5 races this season. Standings at the moment in the women's race. 560 points to Chasson, 30 points ahead of Sabrina Johnnet in second, with Britain's Tracy Mosley in 3rd spot. Going down the standings, Missy Giove, a surprising 7th at the moment, but she's trying to recover from that horrendous crash she had at the Worlds last season in Vail, Colorado, just up the road from here. But we're looking at Kathy Pruitt, the junior downhill champion from 2000, in the hot seat at the moment with a time of 2:25.35. There you have confirmation of that, with Marla Strebin second at the moment, with April Loyer, who came second in the 4-cross yesterday, in 3rd spot at the moment. But we go to Chasson, amazingly riding today here in the final. She qualified in 6th spot, a surprise for her, with a time of 2:28.44. She's got to beat that time set by Kathy Pruitt, that time of 2:25.35. And Caroline, well, we thought that she wouldn't be getting up from that crash yesterday, and in fact she only got back to her team hotel at 3 o'clock this morning. She still rode the semis and quicker at the intermediate split. This course only 0.8 of a mile long, 1,287 meters, and Anne Caroline looking very tentative on that jump. Wearing a black Volvo Cannondale uniform. Change for today. Looking good though, very sexy indeed. If I can say something like that. I think that's a bit sexist, isn't it? So I don't think I should do, really. Anne Caroline, though, brilliant racer that she is, looking very hurt as she comes across the line. 2:21.73. That is superb riding from the injured Volvo Cannondale Pro. Takes the lead from Kathy Pruitt, the junior world champion from the year 2000. Junior world champion from Sierra Nevada in Spain. And it looks like that was really difficult for Anne Caroline. So we move to Sabrina Johnnet, the intense rider who is pushing Anne Caroline so hard this season. She was second to Anne Caroline at Mont Saint Anne in the previous round by 1.82 seconds. Anne Caroline winning there very surprisingly. She doesn't like the Mont Saint Anne course. She had to work very hard for that win. And Sabrina Johnnet a little bit slower than Anne Caroline at that intermediate split. Doesn't look nearly as fluid, and Anne Caroline was very injured. Look, this dusty, bumpy track. Good jump from Johnnet, the intense rider. She has set a time this morning of 2:27.44. That was good enough for 4th place in the qualifiers. She was 2 places better than Anne Caroline Chasson. on this very short course. 0.8 of a mile, very different to Mont Saint Anne. Mont Saint Anne, 1.93 miles, and Sabrina Journier trying to come across the line just half a second slower than Anne-Caroline Chasson, and I don't think that Journier will believe the fact that she will be looking at Anne-Caroline in the hot seat. My goodness me, that must be a surprise for Journier. So we move up to Missy Giove. The global racing rider has had a disappointing season so far this season. Best of 5th at Fort William in the first round, but she is suffering from some serious injuries. But Missy Giove coming across the line in 2:22.80, good enough for third at the moment, just over a second slower. Giove was third fastest in the qualifiers this morning, and that's a very good run for Missy. She's coming back into some form. So is this woman, Marielle Sainer. We're going thick and fast down this mountain. The teammate of Missy Giove on the global racing team. Marielle, consistent as usual, 8th, 12th and 5th. And comes across the line here in a time of 2:22.24, 0.51 slower than Chasson. Chasson still in the hot seat. This is a surprise as we go to the fastest qualifier, the woman who won her first downhill World Cup race in the first round this season, Tracy Mosley. She was fastest this morning with a time of 2:23.49 in the semis. The Team Kona rider has been riding so well this season. 1st, 9th and 3rd. 3rd at Mont Saint Anne last week. An intermediate split of 1:12.19. She's faster than Anne-Caroline Chasson. Can she hold on for that second win this season? Doesn't jump as well as Anne-Caroline down that big jump, but she's looking very smooth indeed. She's getting so consistent. Can she beat Anne-Caroline Chasson? Chasson has won the previous 2 races. She came 19th at Fort William in the first round to this woman, Tracy Mosley, and it looks like Mosley is not going to beat that time. 1.84 slower, 5th place. That will be disappointing for the British rider. So Anne-Caroline Chasson wins yet another downhill race. Goodness me, brilliant riding from Chasson. Her 3rd win of the season. Goodness, good riding.
I knew I had to race 7 with the pain, but I couldn't move too much, so I hesitated. But I tried, and it was not so bad, so I just wanted to make some point to be closer than Sabrina, maybe for the overall result. And after my semi-final, I had no practice in the morning. I was more confident because I knew I could ride, and there is no pedaling on this course, so I just have to let the brakes and be smooth.
Okay, good job.
Super technician, she explained it very well there. So confirmation of that win. Chasson 1st, Journier 2nd, Sainer 3rd, Missy Giove 4th, Tracy Mosley 5th, Kathy Pruitt, best for her in 6th spot, Marla Streb, good to see her on the circuit again in 7th spot, another Brit, Fionn Griffiths in 8th. There you have the confirmation of the standings, 770 points for Anne-Caroline Chasson. She's 62 points ahead of Sabrina Journier in 2nd, and 127 ahead of Mosley in 3rd. It's basically between those 3 for the finals in September.